Yo, yo, Mr. KP, Mr. Kenneth Powers in the house. How are you doing today, sir? How is your trading? How is life? What's going on?
Everything is good, man. Today was a little slower than days prior, but that's understood. You take
Okay.
the green and you take the setbacks, and all together, you just are. It is what it is.
Uh,
How are
so
you,
s-
sir?
I'm doing okay. I netted out red today.
Good.
I've got a handful of stocks, a handful of positions that I want to make sure that we talk about and we get to.
Okay.
But other than that, life is good. It's summer in Detroit. We don't quite have the Eagles. We do have the Lions here.
Well,
It could be
E-
worse. Probably not.
Eagles are a tough team to be a fan of. We had that one year. We
You
did
had
win
the
the Super
1 year.
Bowl.
Yes, I know.
The one year, but I'm in my 30s, so it took a while to get to that one year, and it was almost uh, too long. You know what I mean? I was
Yep.
I
So
was gonna
so
pick another team.
so check this out. So I'm about to be 30,
Okay,
and the Lions have not won a playoff game in my lifetime.
really?
Not even a wild card game. They have won no playoff game in my entire lifetime,
Wow,
which is just damn near depressing.
that's
I
tough, man.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I know that feeling of depression being an Eagles fan. So I can only imagine because we had a pretty good run with Andy Reid. We did win playoff games. We just always it was like meeting resistance on a stock chart. We just always got smashed down. Never got through.
SEC confirming that
Yep.
it will be closed on Friday.
But all right, let's jump to some tickers. I don't know if you have a list that you want to talk about today. A couple that I want to talk and chat through. I want to talk about CureVac, CVAC. I think there's no more fun way to start off the day than talking about a stock that just got hammed. I want to talk about Ford as well. And let's take a good look at Tesla too.
Okay.
That's one that's been on my radar. I haven't taken any action on one way or another, but I have a couple opinions there, so I want to vet those out. That
Good
that
stuff.
sound good? Cool.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pull up my trusty Benzinga Pro on the screen here, guys. If you want to follow along, it's literally free to follow along. You go to or you know what? We even have a link in the chat. Producer Aaron Thomas, if you can throw the link for the Benzinga Pro in the chat, we'd appreciate it, guys. So you can go start that free Benzinga Pro trial. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to put in your credit card, etc. And you can watch what we're doing. But all right, first one up on the docket. We're gonna open up this ticker here. Let's make it nice and full screen. The biggest loser of the day. Ticker CVAC, Charlie Victor Alpha Charlie, CureVac. I think we finished down about 50% today, down another 1.5% after hours. The news on that one, I'm looking again at my trusty Benzinga Pro here. It says CureVac shares are trading lower after the company announced its COVID-19 vaccine demonstrated interim vaccine efficacy of 47%.
That's tough.
That's tough,
That's,
man.
you show up. I'm here for the coin flip.
Yeah, right? I mean, so somebody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't literally every other company who tried to do a COVID vaccine have success with it? Like the worst that we saw was 85% efficacy.
I don't know, but I know that 47%. That's tough, and obviously it shows on that chart.
Yeah. Let's scroll down and I'll zoom us out as well. So here's the chart. Let me get a little zoom out here. All right, so let's go. There we go. All right, so here's 5 days. You zoom it back to a year. So this is daily candles 1 year. Granted, the stock is still up over the course of the year. It got way run up, as the company was working on that COVID vaccine. But I mean, news like that is definitely tough to swallow.
Let's take a look at when did the news drop and scroll a little forward in the chart.
All right. Let's look at when this news came out. So I'm gonna. All right. So we had a There it is. Okay, so it was last night. So we had the press release came out at 5:01 p.m. According to our Benzinga Pro, and then our news desk had coverage on that at 5:02. So it was last night that it came out. And what time frame do you want on the chart?
Just look at the 5 minute.
All right, so what candles are these? These are 10s. Let me zoom in a little bit. I think these are going to be 5. All right, so here's 5-minute candles for you. 2 days, 5-minute candles. You can see last night, 5 o'clock on the dot, this thing takes a nosedive.
It's the power of understanding the news, you know.
FBIO.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to pause our audio squawk for a second here. Let me zoom that out. But yeah, I mean that's absolutely power. You know, the understanding of the news, and so let me ask you this, right? How do you think about news in your trading, and especially in like the age of we're up against HFTs, we're up against algos, you know, who have machines that PhDs are building to read news, trade off of it right away, and so how do you think about news and leveraging news in your trading?
Well, it's twofold, right? You know, I trade from a swing perspective leading up to potential news, whether that be data, whether that be some catalyst event that I understand, you know, from the company, and I expect that news to occur in some time frame, right? So I'm taking a position leading up to it. And then the reactive part to the news, right? A lot of traders, day traders, Momo traders, they're going to see a headline and react instantly to that headline. Whether that, for instance, you know, CureVac, where they had to react to protect their capital, as you can see on the chart, or you're taking a long position in order to capitalize on that positive headline. So news really kind of dictates the life cycle of any trade. You know, you're going to be proactive leading up, or you're going to be reactive as a result, long or short, or you know, protecting capital to the downside, depending on what it is. So it affects everything we do in trading.
Yeah, absolutely. And the, you know, I'm a news junkie, right? I don't know if I could be at Benzinga without being a news junkie a little bit. Okay, that's my soft spot. And the thing that I find is that there's literally every day there are news events that happen that the market just misprices, and on both sides, right? I'm trying to think, what was the God, which one had the big pop this morning? I'll have to grab that one in a second.
Was it APOP?
It wasn't APOP. It was the battery company. Let me hold on. Let me go find this ticker. Because it's a good one. Okay, there it is. CULR, color. Or cooler is how they pronounce it. So check this out, right? So here's the chart, right? We're looking at a 2-day chart, 5-minute candles. I mean, look at this thing. The stock gap from, let's call it $2.30 up to $5.50, and then the slow trickle of death down to $2.31. Okay, right? That this is a chart pattern that we see happen multiple times a week, pretty much every day. So some sort of mispricing of news that happens based on this. And so let's scroll down to what the news actually was. So if we go ahead and we look at the press release, 6:45 a.m., the company comes out here. I'll make this a little bit bigger, but the company comes out. It says Cooler Technology Group received special permit from U.S. Department of Transportation authorizing transport of prototype lithium cells and batteries for commerce. Then we have the Benzinga team sort of gave their summary of that news headline a minute or two later. And the market went bonkers, right? They jumped the price of the stock. They doubled it. And for anybody who follows news flow and incorporates news flow as a part of their trading, we were all looking at this like they got a permit to transport batteries. They didn't get a deal. It's not like there's some new contract. This is no new revenue line, right? They're transporting them. What the company does is they basically make a material that keeps batteries from catching on fire, you know, and so they got a special permit that they needed to move around what can be, you know, sort of this flammable material. And so yeah, I mean, we're all looking at this thing here on the Benzinga News team being like, what the hell's going on?
But look at the chart. You know, that's the power of news, right? You look at the chart and you look at the corresponding headline. The headline was batteries. Batteries are sexy. They work. You know, so you see if you're using a tool and you're leveraging something like Benzinga Pro to capture your news, how it would have put you in a great position on the last chart to get out quick, right, to protect your capital, but also to position yourself for this type of move. Because it was, what, 6:45 in the morning? I'm looking at the 5-minute chart here. It reached 542 at 7:20. So that was a good, 35 minutes prior to hitting highs from the news alert?
Yep.
That's amazing. Almost 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of time. And I mean, if you top and bottom ticked it, right, which none of us are going to do that, I mean, you're making 100% both ways.
Yep.
Or you're making 100% up, 50% down. Right? And guys, if you want to follow along with what we're doing, link is in the chat. I believe it's pinned to the top of the chat. I'll put it there on the screen too. We're just hanging out on Benzinga Pro. We're talking through our trades. We have a handful of tickers that we want to buzz down over this next half an hour or so. If you guys have any particular stocks, tickers you want us to talk about, you know, drop them in the chat. We will go look at them. And again, we got the special Benzinga Pro 2 weeks. Check it out for free. You know, follow along with what we're doing, how we're interpreting information here. But all right, question I have to ask. Going off of stocks for a minute, but before I jump us over to either Ford or Tesla, Cigar. What do we have today?
This is a knuckle buster punch.
Okay.
I don't know if it's good. You know, I have Dago Dom that is my cigar aficionado on the show, Scotch Stocks and Sticks. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. It's on Spotify as well as Apple, Scotch Stocks and Sticks. But I believe he gave this to me, you know, and it's not bad. It's mild, and today was a mild day, so I'm gonna smoke a mild cigar.
Okay.
You know, it's not a celebratory cigar. It's more of you know.
It's a mellow. It's a Thursday. We're going into a Friday.
I guess it is a celebration. I'm live with you, so that's nice.
Yeah, there we go. And you're not a Lions fan.
I am not a Lions fan, but I am an Eagles fan. It's like, you know, we have a lot in common, my friend.
It's not a ton better. Okay, I get it. And let me ask you this question too. You know, Thursday trading versus Friday, or I guess really any other day of the week versus Friday, especially these summer Fridays, summer Friday afternoons, volume lightens up. Does that change how you're making decisions or how you think about your trading at all? I sort of like it because the bullshit rumor mill really gets cooking on some of those summer Friday afternoons, and we get some wild price movements we weren't expecting. But how do you think about those days?
Well, yeah, I would agree to that. You know, have yourself a broker that you can trade at 4 a.m. I miss those days, waking up at 4 a.m. and being able to, you know, execute a trade that's gapped crazy, you know. But I feel like a lot of the cycle that was our norm has kind of changed as a result of the COVID market. You know, things aren't so much the norm anymore. So I don't know the answer to that quite yet. And I think that, you know, we're kind of, you know, beta testing this post-COVID market and seeing some new things on a daily basis. You know, the norms just aren't the norms. So I'd be prepared for anything.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then let's take a look too at some of these after hours movers for a second. See if there's anything that's super interesting. I'm gonna open up my scanner here, and let's see. So we're looking at we're sorting the list of stocks by after hours moves over the past 5 minutes. Let's see. There's a couple that jump out. Let's look at this. Oh yeah, that's a green candle and still going. Okay, what happened here?
Are we looking GERN?
We're looking at GERN, GERN. Again, guys, if you're following along with us in the Benzinga Pro, ticker Golf Echo Romeo November, we're taking a look at our scanner, looking at some of these stocks that are gapping after hours. Right now, I've got mine. There it is, another high, another high. I've got mine set right now to look at the biggest movers over the past 5 minutes. So just stuff that's active and trickling around right now. So it looks like we have
publication in IMBARC Phase 2 data in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. That's what I have for news.
All right. I want to see if this is new data or not. Let's throw the chart up there too while we look at this press release. All right. So let's read this press release. Publication of data. And so here's what I always look for in these ones, Dan, when they're talking about data coming out or data being published in a journal, is I always want to know if the data that they're publishing, which is causing the stock price movement, is new data or if it's just another place where they publish data that already existed.
Sure.
Because a lot of times I find that when they're just republishing data that they already put out there into the market, the stock's already reacted, the stock comes back down in price. Publication highlights the clinical benefits in the study. I'm
pleased with the publication of. I'm gonna venture to guess that is original.
Yeah, this looks. That's the sense that I have too. There's no mention of previously published or anything like that.
And the way that I would look at that is, look at the float. It's north of 300 million, and it hasn't faded off yet. It's still fighting.
Yeah.
So that's a quick sign that it would be
this.
new data.
Oh, there it goes. It's about to hit that high again. It's a penny off of that high. All right, so let's do. Let's click on another one too. There. Okay. No, it's addicting. There it is. High. It's still going. Another high. All right, look at that. Okay. So if you and I were trading, and we weren't just hanging out and having this conversation, we opened this thing up at what, like $1.65, and now we've already got it up to over $1.80. We just saw it.
Yeah, but when did the news drop? Right. It dropped 4 minutes ago. So let's look at the 1 minute.
Yep, zoomed in. All right, there's our 1 minute candles right there.
And what's that, about 10 cents?
Yep.
So the power of news, puts in a position to act, and that's the beauty of it. And having the right tools is always going to just enhance your game.
Yep, absolutely. I want to click into the next one on our scanner here. Let's look at this. So again, this is 1 day, 1 minute chart that I have up on the screen. This one less interesting. It's only traded within one candle. Let's broaden our time horizon a little bit too and look at more time in this after hours session. So now instead of just looking at the price movement over the trailing 5 minutes, I'm now looking at anything that's gapping over the past 15 minutes. Let's see this ALDX. Not super interesting. So GERN, I guess, is the winner of, which stock is the most fun to watch in this after-hours session.
Yeah, not much going on. So, many a times when there's not much, many people flood to the one that is much. That is good data. Anytime, you have phase 2 data, it's positive. And you're looking at after hours. What do we have on the scanner here? Just a few stocks that are over 10%. Two stocks that are over 10% after hours, SSNT and GERN. What's going on with SSNT?
All right, let's check out that one. That one's popped up. It's position 3 on our chart. Here's the 1 minute candles again that we have up on this thing. So we have news out of this one too, it looks like. There it is. All right, so Alt Global Holdings filed a Form 13D. So this is a hedge fund taking an active position in the stock, about 142,000 shares at $6.78 per share. Let me run the quick math on that one. 42,000 times $7. So it's $1 million stake. And let's do a quick check on the market cap. Okay, so you have a hedge fund taking $1 million stake in a 34 million market cap stock. I mean, that's definitely material. And they filed it as an active position, which means that they want to get involved in the company and potentially be switching some things around. So now we're looking at 18% gain in this after-hours session.
Solid. That's a small float too.
It's got to be really small. Do you have a share count? I mean, it's a $33 million market cap. I guess
Yeah,
plus
give me
20%
1
now.
second, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, and this thing's back up at its highs, which is always encouraging, and I always like to see, trend is your friend. Trade into the strength. Do you pick bottoms? I do not pick bottoms. I've tried and failed many a times.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post offering the knives and that sort of thing. I will try to be in a position to catch a bottom. I typically wait for confirmation before I make any moves because a lot of people are better at it than me. And 9 times out of 10, I'm working, so I miss that,
Yep.
Let's see here.
All right.
It's like 2.09 million shares outstanding, 4.76 million. Yeah, so that's a small float. And you said how many shares was the 13?
So the hedge fund, the Forum 13D, 142,000 shares.
That's a pretty significant chunk of that float.
Hell yeah.
Does it talk about a percentage?
I see 10+%, which means that they already have a position. If I open up this SEC filing here, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm looking at the SEC filing. We should get a percentage. So they own 14% of the company right now.
710,000 shares, 711,000 shares. Yep, that was a good one. Those toot buys, you catch those nice. They can be very lucrative, and again, just goes back to having the tools and being able to react and understanding the filings and what they are, and knowing if they're good or bad, right? Whether it's an S or a shelf or a 13, and be reactive.
Yep. But let's look at I always have fun with the bloodbaths a little bit. I will admit one of my hobbies in life is when you see a stock nosedive 90% going to the stock twits board and just reading about the bloodshed. Sorry, I know it's a little sadistic, but I get a little bit of pleasure out of that. But all right, let's look at what's getting hammed after hours. Again, I'm just taking my Benzinga Pro scanner. I just flipped it from the biggest gappers to the biggest losers. If you guys want to follow along, check out the link that we have on the screen there. Okay, free 2-week trial. You don't have to type in your credit card or anything. You just get to access the tool and hang out, follow along with us. But let's look at this Talos Energy. Is there anything there? Not really. Not a ton. It looks like in terms of losers with news, it looks like these Aries Commercial Real Estate, so ticker ACRE, Alpha Charlie Romeo Echo, stock is off 5% after they announced an offering. So it looks like they're gonna put another almost 1 million shares, 975,000 shares on the market. We're off from, let's see, 16.29 to 15.5 on that announcement. They dropped that at 4:28 p.m. And I will say I give the CFO or the investor relations person or the bank or whoever was behind this share count decision a little bit of credit. They decided to do an offering of 975,000 shares rather than 1 million flat. I'm guessing there was some strategy with that number, right? Make it a little bit easier to swallow. It's not a 1 million share offering. It's damn close, but not quite. So whoever was the brains behind that operation, you're trying your best. We'll give you that one.
There you go. A million just didn't look right. Maybe it would be more scary at a million than it was at 995,000.
Yes, exactly. 975,000. Oh, I'll eat that up all day. A million. That's when I'm headed to the hills. Okay. All right, and you had a decent trade into the close.
I did. Yeah.
Let's look at that one.
Sure. OXBR.
And guys, if you have any tickers you want us to cover, go ahead, drop those in the chat. I also just dropped that Benzinga Pro link in there again if you want to check it out, hang out with us. But all right, what's the ticker that we should be looking at right now?
OXBR. So if you look at it all day, wasn't really anything happening.
OX Bravo Romeo, are those the last two?
Yeah, Bravo Romeo.
Okay. All right, so here's our chart, and I'm going to leave my scanner up on the gainers tubes. I want to see how this GERN is moving. But all right, we have a little chart to look at. I've got 1 day chart, minute candles up. Is that appropriate?
Yeah, you can do a minute, 5 minute. I use 5 minute. That's what I like to trade on intraday.
All right, so here's our 5 minute candles. So we're looking at 2 days of price movement, 5 minute candles.
Let's do 1 day.
Right.
1 day is all you need for this. You know, I think 1 day tells a real tale of the move today.
Okay. So here's our 1 day 5 minute candles.
Perfect. So you see there wasn't really any movement at all. It was I believe those EVs in the morning. I don't know really what the theme was. There wasn't anything that was really defined. But back to defined catalysts. We knew that at 3:30 p.m. today that the president was signing Juneteenth into law.
Yep.
So that was a defined catalyst. OXBR is a BLM stock. So I was soaking that up all day, trying to catch anything that was really anything below 3.
Okay.
And sure enough, the lead in to that catalyst, you see what happened.
Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a move. So when you're thinking about this one, you knew that there was a catalyst, you knew that there was news coming up, so you were sort of averaging into it. It sounds like throughout the day. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's all. Yep.
Okay. Stock starts gapping.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage the position once it starts to gap? Right, you know the news catalyst, right? You're looking out for that. It's starting to move. Are you still in the position? Do you sell it on the way up? I mean, how do you manage these types of trades when they break out with you?
Sure. So I guess it's all dependent on the catalyst itself, right? If you know it's significant, and you'll understand this with time. This particular catalyst, I scaled 25%, 25%, 25%. Let the rest run for the move. I still have like 10% of the shares left, I think.
Okay.
I'd have to take a look. But, we can anticipate that this could go on because Juneteenth is it's not here yet, right? So
yeah, so it's going to be
essentially
Sunday,
that theme
right?
will continue on into tomorrow. And,
Saturday.
It may be a sell the news closing tomorrow. It may continue over the weekend. We don't know. We're going to have to look at the action tomorrow. But I'm pretty comfortable holding that last bit of shares, and it's all profit money at this point. But yeah, it was a good trade, and it gave people ample opportunity. If you look at it, you knew what the catalyst was. It was there. It was everywhere. And you just tuck some away and see if they come for it. If not, what's the downside? You see the movement that has taken place all day, which is, nothing.
Yeah, flat. I mean, this is a boring chart until about 3 o'clock or so.
Yep, and then boom, and there you have it. So, understanding the news, understanding the catalysts, and positioning your money to capitalize on it.
Yep. All right, so there's that one. I want to get to some tickers in the chat in just a second here. We've got AMD, we have CELH, we have APPS, we have ENPH. But let's talk about one that I was in today. I got screwed on. Ford Motor Company, ticker F, Foxtrot. It was my 2021 stock of the year, so it's swelled to be probably my largest position right now, at least in the top 3. We had an amazing. This is a 2-day chart, 5-minute candles. We're looking at. I'll zoom it in. Here's 1-day 5-minute candles. We got a great move this morning, right? Stock up to about 1550 or so at its high before the goddamn slow trickle of death. It kills me that happened throughout the day. Let's scroll down and look at the news here. I'm going to go to my trusty Benzinga Pro news feed. We had some really nice updates from the company. So first things first, and I'll zoom this in one time to make it a little bit easier for everybody to see. But we have Ford coming out this morning. They said, our Q2 EBITDA for Q2 21 is going to be significantly better than EBITDA in Q2 20. Okay, great. I'll take it. They did some qualitative things. They said strong customer reservations for new vehicles that are coming out. So they cited their Bronco, the electric F-150, the Maverick, that new truck. Which, speaking of which, I think that we actually have one of those in the Benzinga fleet right now. We're just getting cars left and right.
Really?
So that might be what I'm driving home today. If I am, I'll tweet out some videos of it. But there's some Ford pickup that's bright orange that's sitting in the Benzinga fleet right now for us to try out. So that might be the one that I'm taking home. But let's go. And they even had this. They said improvement in autos and the auto sector as a whole, right? And again, this is coming from our Benzinga Pro News team. They're paraphrasing what Ford said, is being driven by lower than anticipated costs. Okay, lower than anticipated costs. The whole narrative around autos for the past 3 months has been this freaking chip shortage, right? We can't put out any vehicles. All of our parts, our raw materials are getting so expensive. Inflation, transportation costs, right? They're saying better than expected costs, right? They're basically debunking this whole thing that happened with the whole narrative that's been autos are going to get hit because they can't get their hands on chips, their parts are going up, etc. They're saying no, that's not the case. So we had that pop. The market sold it off into the day. I don't know if it's bag holders that were unloading shares because Ford had come down off of its previous high, right? We were at all-time highs a couple of days ago and it unloaded it. But again, I'm a news junkie. My thing is interpreting news, analyzing news flow, trying to find places where the market misprices news. And this is one of those situations where I think that we had a wave of strong news. Granted, it was all qualitative. It was no quantitative news, right? We got qualitative. They said orders are strong. They said costs are lower. EBITDA is better, right? But those are all very positive qualitative words. We're going to have earnings on the stock coming out in probably 7 weeks or so. So generally speaking, I'm not adjusting my position at all based off of that. If anything, it makes me more bullish on the upcoming quarter. They wouldn't be saying these things if they were about to shit the bed on earnings a couple weeks from now. So I'm going to throw this one out to the chat. First question I'm going to ask the chat of the day. If you guys think this Ford news that we just went through is generally bullish, drop me the 1 in the chat. If not, drop me the 2. I want to see where Zinger Nation is at with this thing. And then the last piece that I'll point out is again, if you're just joining us, we're looking at our after hours scanner on the left-hand side here. We're looking at news flow and in the mini chart on the right-hand side. If you guys do want to follow along with us, it is totally free to check out Benzinga Pro. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you want to follow along and look at what we're looking at. But all right, there's my rant, okay? I have rants sometimes.
This guy says he got screwed by F in the past. It's on my hate list. I guess you do not trade list, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple of those. Do you?
Oh yeah, everybody has a do not trade list. It is what it is. I think there's this one company that I was very, very bullish in. They had it was a bio. They had 4 defined catalysts. I'm not going to say the company to rip them, but they had 4 defined catalysts last year, and I was just accumulating a position, and they just never came. I joined. it was getting to the point where I had so much at stake that I was joining all the calls. I was really in it.
Oh, if you're
And,
listening to the conference calls, you are in that thing deep.
yeah, you're
You are
an
in
investor
that
at
thing.
this point. And
Yes.
the guy, I wasn't a fan of his style, and I was just so disappointed in myself. And but I didn't want to just market dump him, so I slowly scaled out. And a couple of those catalysts did come, but it didn't make the move that I had anticipated. We got pretty spoiled when, the beginning of COVID, when something would happen around COVID and it would gap, 100, 200, 300% overnight. And this one, although they could have taken advantage of that, for some reason they did not, But hey, you live and you learn. Sometimes there's tickers and plays that just work out like that. And
hey, it's better than being a CureVac shareholder when they come out with 47% COVID vaccine efficacy. Okay.
This is true.
All right, tickers in the chat. I'll rattle off a couple. If you have an opinion, I'll let you pick which ones we talk about. If you have an opinion on any, otherwise we'll just power through them. But we have AMD, we have CELH, we have APPS, we have Enphase, ENPH, we have Fox, and then GERN, which I know we already covered, but we could look at GERN again as well. Any opinion on any of those?
AMD had good news today, didn't they? They partnership, didn't Google?
Yeah.
Google picked them up.
All right. So I don't know is the answer, but per my trusty Benzinga Pro, check it out at the top here. I have my why is it moving. So in about 20 seconds, I'll be up to speed on the AMD story. So rooting it off here for us, advanced micro device shares are trading higher after the company and Google Cloud announced T2D, the first instance in the new family of Tau virtual machines powered by third-gen AMD EPYC processors. So it sounds like AMD and Google Cloud are teaming up. If you guys don't know what Google Cloud is, I do because we're a customer here at Benzinga. Google Cloud is their AWS, Amazon Web Services competitor. So Amazon Web Services powers so much of the internet, right? All the hosting, processing, servers, etc. Google said, screw you, Amazon, we're coming for it. Your EBITDA margin is insane on that business line. And now AMC is into the fold because it sounds like they're going to be providing hardware for that Google Cloud service. And monster move out of AMD today. Here's the 5-minute candles. Let's look at just today. I mean, since from when about 9 a.m. through now, I mean, the stock's been on a rally.
The REIT market. Let's talk about that. That's a good subject.
All right. Hit me.
Yeah, so MDRR. I don't know too much about the stock. I know that REITs have been a hot subject lately. IVR, AHT, I believe are both REITs if I'm not mistaken. Yep. MDRR, another REIT, and I feel that they're all, some of them have already run and made a good move, but I think there's more potential there. If you go back and you look at the dailies on a lot of them, let's take a look at MDRR.
All right, so MDRR, pulling it up, trusty Benzinga Pro. You said you want daily candles?
Yeah, let's look at the daily.
All right, here's the daily candles. This is 1 year. Is that good?
Yeah, so let's look, pre-COVID. That's always a good test, especially for an opening up stock, REITs and real estate and that sort of thing. You got it, and hotels, and now that everybody is getting vaccinated and travel is opening up again and people have been locked down and they want to get out and go, you can only anticipate that a lot of these tickers, I was in early in IVR, early in AHT, the opening up theme is going to make sense. And you look at these dailies, you look where they were pre-COVID, that kind of gives you a sense, as long as you weight that, to now against pre-COVID, you can anticipate what type of move could potentially happen in the short term and over a longer time frame. So yep. MDRR, look left. look at the float.
Here, yeah.
Float.
So here, guys. Here's a 2-year chart, I believe dailies, or what do we have? We're working with weekly candles here, so you can get the pre-COVID highs. Looks like the stock was about $4.30 before COVID dumped on us. And while you're pulling up the float, I do want to click into the calendar, look at the dividends. REITs are great dividend payers. Oh shit, they're one of the ones that looks like that canceled their dividend into COVID. So
Take
okay,
that into consideration.
yeah, I've got an opinion on that.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so we saw a lot of companies cancel their dividends into COVID, right? It was COVID happened before they had significant financial impact. A lot of companies just like canceled their dividends out of fear. You know, it's like, holy shit, the world just shut down. We don't know how long this thing's going to be. We're canceling our dividend. Let's keep the cash on the balance sheet.
Yep.
And we've seen the financials from these companies be pretty damn strong. I mean, across the board, you know, you have more companies that are making more money right now than they were before COVID. They still haven't brought back these dividends. And so I sort of want to run a screen and just pull a list of stocks that have had revenue growth over the trailing 12 months, plus still haven't brought back their dividends, and start buying them on that dividend catalyst. But because I would imagine as we're getting into Q2 21, right, the U.S. is vaccinated, the U.S. is opened up, you know, there's much less uncertainty surrounding these stocks. I would imagine that we're going to get in those earnings reports a ton of dividend announcements. Thoughts on that one?
Well, I think it makes sense. COVID made a lot of people pull their money from the market, right? So when a company shows that they're going to offer a dividend again, you know, obviously they have greater means than we do when it comes to R&D and that sort of thing. So that shows me that they're confident, which also, you know, could correlate into me giving them my confidence by taking a position in their stock. So that most certainly could be a catalyst, potentially a significant catalyst.
Yep. All right. I dig it. And I know we're creeping up towards the end of our time here, guys. Again, we're looking on the left-hand side of our Benzinga Pro here. We've got our after-hours scanner looking at some of these stocks that are gapping after hours. The right side, we got our quick little chart and all of our news sources. But do you have any more tickers you want to talk about? You have like a final ticker, a final idea we should be looking at, thinking about, etc.?
Let's hear them. Anyone?
All right, I'm gonna look back. So ears is one that got dropped in the chat. PTIX. I saw Wish fly into there as well. You see BlackBerry, AHT, Mankind. Let's look at Wish.
Let's take a peek at it.
Do you have an opinion on that one? We were sort of talking about this one the other night. You know, they sell a lot of shit.
They sell a lot of stuff, that's for sure.
All right. If you out there watching this, if you have not been to wish.com before and browsed around, do yourself a favor tonight and spend like a good 20 minutes going through wish.com. I mean, it's hilarious. I like yeah. I mean, like they sell like fake leather jackets for like $1.50 a piece. But you have to buy 100 of them. It's just like weird shit like that. So that's the business. But let's talk about the stock now. Here's daily candles, 1-year chart. It was a SPAC deal. You know, if we zoom in on this chart, I mean, we got some crazy price action. Let's see. Go ahead.
Here's what I want you to take a look at. So you look at the daily. You always look left on a chart, right? Look at the earnings 3/8/2021.
3/8. So you're saying March 8th, 2021, right?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. It's like right around here. March. There we go.
Make sure you zoom out a little bit.
Oh, you want it? How far out you want it?
Well, I want you to zoom out to identify where the chart is today to where that time period is, right?
All right. So here's the chart today. 3/8/21 is right here, right? We had some nice little bull run there.
Yeah. So look at the earnings. According to, I'm seeing that earnings were $794 million.
All right, I'm going to click over my Benzinga Pro to the earnings tab. 3.8. Yeah, so we got sales of 794 million versus 736 million estimate, 8% beat.
Okay. So you look where it's trading. Look at the most recent earnings on 5/12.
Okay. 5/12. So let's zoom us in here. Let's looking at, there we go. All right.
Then it gapped a little bit gap down.
Yep, right there, right where my mouse is.
What do you have for earnings then?
All right,
772 million. So what's changed over that time frame? You see what I mean? And maybe I'm not in the know, and people in the comments, chime in. The earnings were pretty decent, right? Both of those earnings, but on the 3/8, it was trading over $20. However, on 5/12, we're trading right about, between 11 and $12.
Yep.
Did they offer?
I don't think so. I mean, let's do a quick scroll through our news feed here. Just clicking over to my BZ news feed. I don't know. I'm not seeing any offerings or anything like that.
But you see where I'm going with it? Could this have been, due to COVID? Obviously, revenues and sales seem to be pretty flat. They weren't great, but they weren't horrendous. From what I'm seeing, just looking at the chart and looking at those time frames, to warrant, almost we're looking at.
So we're looking at post that first earnings report, $19 down to after that second earnings report, $8. So that's more than a 50% sell off.
Exactly. You see where I'm going with it? What happened in the between there to warrant 50%?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we had the SPAC energy flush out, right? I mean, SPACs are so out of favor until pretty damn recently.
This is true.
But yeah, I mean, the company got cut in half, with with flat sales. I mean, it's a good point.
Yeah, so those are all things to take into consideration. I think I like Wish. I think it's cheap still here. I think there's some upside to be had with it. I don't think that anything's changed. I don't know enough about it to make a definitive statement on it, but I do think that, if everything remains equal, and at first point it was trading at over $20, and everything remains equal and sales remain equal, and it's only trading at 11 now, I feel that it's cheap. As long as there was no dilution throughout that time frame, and I don't know that there was. And it could be, like you said, the SPAC theme has faded. But to what extent? And will it cycle back again?
I think it will, absolutely. Do you have any opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it will. I think we've seen a lot in these recent days these shorts piling on some of these SPACs, and they be the Wall Street bets stocks of choice. So I think they're all going to have their day depending on what happens. Clove. Geez, that was a wild ride, and there was a lot of frustrated people with that after the Hindenburg report. It was down very, very cheap. I think, what was it, 7s? Let's take a
so
look
here's
at
the
low.
1 year chart, daily candles. So it looks like we have a low 630.
630. Yeah, and with the NAV pre-Clover days, when it was, what was it, IPOC? IPOC, right? IPOC, I believe. It was, NAV was $10.50 or something, and a lot of these SPACs dropped well below NAV. And a lot of them could be potential growth companies. I know that Clover Health has been coming out and making a lot of deals. They've had a lot of PRs as of recent. But obviously the big move was when the Wall Street Bets crowd got a hold of it and ran it to $28, $29.
Yeah, and when we look at this quarter-over-quarter earnings data here in Benzinga Pro for Clover Health, we see We put up 166 million in one quarter and then 200 million in the next quarter. So we only have 2 reports from the company as a public company, but I mean, it's what, 30% higher revenue, or 20% higher revenue on a quarter-over-quarter basis seems pretty decent.
It's not bad, and you know, in the wake of COVID too, right? So
yeah, hell yeah.
We'll see how it all shakes out. There were plenty of opportunities on that ticker, and I think in the grand scheme of things, I think that could be a pretty decent growth name. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Mr. KP. I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us, talking some trades, talking some after-hour movement. Guys, I'm going to put the ball in your court. I'll drop the Benzinga Pro link in the chat for a final time. Check it out. If you like any of the stuff that we're looking at, we're just flipping between the financials, the charts. We're looking at the scanner and seeing what's gapping after hours. You know, it's free to check it out for a couple weeks. So do it. I can't promise you what will happen in the markets, but I can promise you your Benzinga Pro is free to try it. So no reason not to give it a go on that trial.
Yeah, give it a shot, guys. You know, it's free. You can't beat free. It's a clean UI. You know, the beauty of Benzinga Pro is it's a holistic view of everything that you would normally use on a daily basis: charting, news, scanner, squawk, and it's all beautifully incorporated into a clean UI like this. You can bounce around and pretty much knock out any of your needs in order to make actionable decisions. Check it out. I use it every day. Benzinga Charlie's awesome. 14 days. Try it out at minimum.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Yeah, do yourself a favor. Just throw the Benzinga audio squawk. Look at, I'm clicking on this little microphone button on the left-hand side of my screen here. If you're not even looking at your screen, you're going to have somebody who's watching the market all day just calling out when stocks are gapping and when there's news coming out on them. So at the very least, it's worth throwing that on in the background for the day.
Yep.
But cool. All right, guys. Happy trading. Peace.
Happy trading.
Link is in the chat. We will see you all later.